John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. I've got another broadhead battle lined up for today, and this is a really good broadhead battle, okay? It's against two top-of-the-line, 3-blade, replaceable blade broadheads. In this corner, I've got the QAD Exodus, swept version, 125 grain. In this corner, I've got the G5 Striker V2, 125 grain. They both have a 1 1/4 inch cut-in diameter, which I really appreciate. Most 3-blade heads come in just 1 1/8 inches. Now that's only an 1/8 of an inch difference, and so you go, well, what's the big difference? Well, an 1/8 of an inch can be the difference between cutting through that vein or cutting through that artery that's right on the boundary or not. It also just 1/8 of an inch, and again through 3 blades, so an 1/8 of an inch times 1 1/2. It makes a difference in passing through something. If you don't think it makes a difference, consider an 1/8 of an inch blade, okay? It's very small. Consider a blade that's an 1/8 of an inch wide. Let me ask you, if you don't think it makes a difference, let me push it right through your sternum from front to back. Think you'd feel it? Yeah, you'd feel it. An 1/8 of an inch can make a big difference, all right? So I appreciate that both of these have a full 1 1/4 inch cut. They both have a really tough looking chisel tip. They're both 100% steel. And let's see, the blades, again, both of them are replaceable. On the Exodus, a few things to note. The blades are 0.040 inches thick. Some of the thickest replaceable blades on the market. It's hard to find the specs on the Striker V2, but I believe they're 0.035 inches thick based on some of their other heads. I could be wrong about that, but you definitely can even notice with the naked eye, they're not as thick. Then the tips, okay, they're both these hardened steel tips. The Exodus has a bit of a divot in the tip that allows the edges to be quite a bit sharper than does the complete wedge pyramid design of the G5 Striker V2. So it's sharp, but it's not nearly as sharp as the Exodus tip can get. The blades themselves both feel really sharp. What I'm going to do is put it through the tests that I've been doing for all my tests, all my heads this year. I'm going to shoot it out at distance and see how each of them fly. And then I'm going to shoot them through a few different mediums. First, the penetration test. And I'm going to shoot it with that through a 1/2 inch layer of MDF surrounded by a 1/3 inch of rubber foam mat. And then it's going to go into clear ballistics ballistic gel. And I'll measure the depth of penetration. Since these both have the exact same size wound channel, the depth of penetration will make a difference. And then I'm going to test the edge retention with a steel plate. I've got a 22 gauge steel plate, and I'm going to shoot it for a maximum, each one, I'm going to shoot them a maximum of 5 times. After their blades get significantly mangled, then I'm going to call it. So for each round that they continue to pass through without getting significantly mangled, they get 2 points for a maximum of 10 points. So the flight, the penetration, the edge retention, let the broadhead battle begin. As with all my tests this year, I'm using a Bowtech SR6 set at 72 pounds, 27 inch draw. I'm using a 460 grain Bishop FOC King arrow, fobs, and nocturnal nocks. Exodus. Bullseye. Striker V2, 70 yards. Bullseye. First I'll go with the Exodus and then the Striker V2. Here you can see the penetration of both of them. They both penetrated well. The Exodus on the bottom penetrated 8 1/4 inches, and the Striker V2 penetrated 8 inches. And when I measure the amount of the arrow sticking out, that 1/4 of an inch was the difference there as well. 20 1/4 inches sticking out versus 20 1/2 inches sticking out. The edge goes to the Exodus in penetration. First the Exodus and then the Striker V2, and I'll just keep doing that each time until they have to stop. Here's both of the heads after going through the steel plate 5 times. And props to both of them for making it through all 5 shots. However, it is a head-to-head comparison. And if you look at the Exodus, it does not look like it's even been shot. I mean, no kidding. I cannot see any nicks or imperfections in the tip or the blades. That's amazing. The Striker V2, again, it made it through, and the tip is in great shape, but you can see the blades got much more nicked up and bent even. A couple of them got bent, and you can see the edges got compromised there. So both of them did really well, but the edge goes to the Exodus in edge retention. So what do you think of this Broadhead battle? Okay, I gotta say, I'm really impressed with both of the heads. In terms of flight, I give it a draw, at least as far as my talent level will allow me to test. They both flew very well, even out at longer distances. In terms of penetration, the edge goes to the Exodus. In terms of edge retention, both did very well. To make it through that steel plate 5 times is impressive. I've had other heads that I've tested that haven't even made it through 1 time. But to make it through 5 is impressive. But since it's a broadhead battle and you have to compare, the Exodus is completely unscathed. It's as though it hasn't even been shot, whereas the Striker V2, the blades are not reusable. I mean, you can replace them, but they're very nicked up and bent. The Exodus, you just have to touch them up a bit and you can still go on using them. So this is a good example of people saying, oh, well, we don't hunt steel plate. What does it matter? Well, right, we don't hunt steel plate. I understand that. But if I'm picking a head and I'm choosing between one that can make it through a steel plate 5 times unscathed, and for the same price, a head that loses a blade on the first shot, well, I know which one I'm going to choose. Now, in a hunting situation, maybe both of them can kill animals, but man, I'm going to choose the one that does the best in this kind of a testing. And in this broadhead battle, the edge definitely goes to the QAD Exodus. This is a fantastic broadhead. Congratulations, Exodus.